Welcome back to Temporal Directive, the Star Trek fan podcast, rewatching the entire franchise in chronological order. I'm Gary.
And I'm Tom.
This week we are breaching our Temporal Directive to bring you this special extra episode. Today we are talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 premiere, Hegemony,
Woohoo!
Part 2. Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the podcasts of the Wakefield brothers. Their 16-year mission to watch every production, to seek out life lessons and new inspirations, to boldly watch like most fans have watched before. That's right, Strange New Worlds is back. Woo!
Yay! Yay!
So, we will be doing special bonus episodes when we can.
Yes, if I'm not dying on the
If you're
couch
not
going
sick again. To discuss the new episodes. Hopefully we don't get too busy and Tom stays well and we can try to keep as up to date as possible, but this one has already been delayed.
Yes, not a good start, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. We will try to catch up and then try to maintain it, but we'll do what we can. Mm-hmm. Because we're doing these episodes as breach episodes now, as they come out, we won't be revisiting them again when we get to them in the chronology. When we did the breach episodes for Lower Decks, we didn't give an IMDb score because we plan on revisiting them in a decade or so when we get to them. But for Strange New Worlds, because we're not revisiting, we will do an IMDb score like we do in our normal episodes.
Yep, sounds good.
And spoiler alert, if you have not watched the Season 3 premiere, Hegemony Part 2, go and watch that. We are going to spoil the absolute shit out of it.
Yes, yes, go and do that now.
Do not listen to us talk about it if you have not watched it.
Yes, watch it and come back.
Yes. All right, this episode is, as I mentioned, called Hegemony Part 2. Hegemony, depends what continent you live on. I'm going to say hegemony because that's the American way.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Story by Henry Alonso Myers and Davey Perez. Teleplay by Davey Perez, his 5th writing credit for Strange New Worlds. Directed by Chris Fisher, his 3rd directing credit for the show, including the Season 1 finale, A Quality of Mercy, which I fucking loved.
Yes, it was friggin' fantastic.
The original air date was just a couple of weeks ago, July 17th, 2025. And in what might be the worst IMDb synopsis I have ever read, the scene opens with a Gorn battle. Captain Pike begins to entertain suggestions from the bridge crew and decides to ram the Gorn destroyer to plant a tracking device. They escape to save the colonists and crew later, which they do.
Okay. That's okay. That is,
like I said, spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers already in the fucking synopsis.
In the synopsis just tells you that is the worst. I thought you meant it was just gonna be short and shit.
Nope.
But that just tells you
everything.
So why watch
tells you the ending.
So, okay, so they succeed. Okay, well that's good.
Cool. Next.
Moving on.
Everyone lives the end.
Yeah.
What's next?
No suspense whatsoever.
Oh dear. All right, let's go watch it.
Righto.
And we're back from watching Hegemony Part 2. Well, Tom, what did you think? Was it a good wrap-up?
It was good. It was good. It wasn't as good as the first part.
No,
I'll give it
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, it was good though. Like it is a good series. I like these people. I like these characters. I like Scotty. Scotty's great.
Yeah, Scotty's cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. But yeah, the first part was really, really fantastic. This felt like a little bit of a letdown compared to that. But still, yeah, not bad. I do enjoy the journey.
I loved Pike.
Yeah, Pike's fantastic.
Yeah, his performance, Anson Mount's performance was excellent in this episode. I thought the people on the Gorn ship, I thought the ship itself looked really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was
the organic
good
thing.
tension on that them trying to escape as well. I thought that was really cool. And overall, I thought the pace was excellent. Like, it wrapped up a bit too conveniently at the end for my liking. But the pace was good. I didn't realize we'd been watching for that long by the time we got to the end. But there was a couple of things I didn't like.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The fact that Pike started praying.
Yeah, I did not like that instantly.
I'm not a fan. I know that they've talked about Pike being an altar boy, and there's this religious history with him, and that they talked about in Discovery. But
well, I'm not a fan of religion in Star Trek as it is.
Me neither. Anyway, so that I didn't particularly like that. I didn't like that the way they got away from the Gorn was basically to put them to sleep. It was basically the same as the Best of Both Worlds Part 2, where they put the Picard got them to put the Borg to sleep.
Yeah.
That was Next Gen's first big cliffhanger too. Yeah. Big cliffhanger, big stakes, and same resolution.
Hey, look into my eyes, You're asleep.
So yeah, I didn't really like that. I thought that was a bit... They could have thought of something else maybe. I don't know what. I'm not saying that I have an answer there.
Yeah.
But putting them to sleep...
Okay, yeah, fair enough. That didn't bother me as much. But I get
it. I know.
Tom!
I know, we've swapped parts. The Illyrian magic super blood that cures everyone of everything.
Yeah, okay.
I hated it in Into Darkness.
Yep.
And I hate it here.
Yep. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it just seems to be the answer cure-all to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense either, does it?
Didn't. Really? No, I don't. I think it's slack.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's weak. It's
and again, stolen. It was in Into Darkness. They did that with Khan's blood and Kirk in the Into Darkness movie, which was shit then too. Yeah. But the resolution to the two big parts of the cliffhanger, how do we escape the Gorn and how do we save Captain Patel, are both recycled.
Yeah, both from other Star Trek.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Look pretty.
It did look good.
Like, the show looks good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's
and fantastic. I really like the characters. I think all the actors do a great job. And yeah, like I said, the pace was good. A lot of it was good. I just didn't like the resolution.
Yeah. And I think that was probably why it didn't feel very good watching it in a way. Like, why it didn't feel like as good as the first part. Like, it's because everything felt a little convenient. Like, I get that you sort of have to wrap it up, and so things sort of almost have to be. But finding the guns in the Gorn ship just happened to be right there where you are as well. Like, that's lucky. You didn't even have to walk away. They're sitting underneath your little pods. Like, okay, it's very convenient.
Yeah.
And there's other things that I didn't like. We'll get to when we go through.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get into the episode, shall we?
All right.
So, to start with, we left season 2 with the landing party and the colonists having been taken by the Gorn. Pike's girlfriend, Captain Patel, was implanted with the Gorn babies and was taken to sickbay to be put into stasis. And as the Enterprise was being swarmed and attacked by Gorn ships, Starfleet ordered Pike and the Enterprise to leave. Pike looked overwhelmed. Everyone was asking him for orders. He looked at the camera, and we got a to be continued up on the screen. Yeah. And now, the conclusion. 2 years later, we get straight back into the action, and there's a bunch of Gorn ships swarming towards the Enterprise, firing weapons as we moved onto the bridge, where we left everyone last season. Everyone's still asking Pike for orders. Mm-hmm. Pike confirms that the order to retreat did not state immediately.
True.
Bit of a technicality, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
So Pike asks for suggestions from the crew. Spock and Mitchell make a couple of suggestions, but then Una suggests jamming the Gorn comm so they can't coordinate their attacks, which is what Pike chooses to do.
Yeah.
Uhura modifies the deflector to distribute light spectrum to confuse them, because that's how the Gorn communicate with each other. Yeah. We get an external shot of some Gorn ships crashing into each other and pieces of those ships hitting the Enterprise shields, which gives them a few moments to take a breath.
Yeah.
And back on the bridge, Pike wants some suggestions on how to get the landing party and the colonists back. Una suggests retreating and returning to the rescue later on, but they need to figure out how to track the specific ship that they're on first. So they decide to use a torpedo that's been emptied and filled with wolkite. Never heard of that, but anyway, we'll take whatever.
Sure.
Spock says it's a rare element that contains subspace gauge bosons.
Technobabble. That is appropriate for the moment that we need it.
Yes.
And we'll never hear of again.
No.
In all of Star Trek history.
No.
But it works.
It works. Because they can scan the wolkite through the Gorn shields.
Yeah.
So the plan is to ram the Gorn ship, and when the shields come into contact and they sort of drop for a moment, it should create enough disruption to allow them to fire the torpedoes, including the planted tracking device with the wolkite.
This is a clever idea.
I mean, sure. Pike says it's time to go. It's time to go head to head and play a game of chicken with the Gorn.
It's not really chicken when you plan not to turn away.
That's right. And we go to an external shot of the Enterprise turning towards the Gorn ship. They tell everyone to hold on. We see people actually grab things.
Yeah.
And then Pike says hit it, and they ram through the shields into the ship. They fire the torpedoes, and Pike orders a retreat at warp and says, "Hang in there, guys," as we cut to opening credits. Hang in there, guys.
Yeah.
We actually watched the opening credits. We didn't skip them because they're much
awesome.
cooler.
Yeah.
And we come back to the Enterprise dropping out of warp. They have rendezvoused with the rest of the fleet. Uhura says that the USS Pablo Picasso is hailing, and Admiral April wants to beam on board to debrief with Captain Pike. But we cut to sickbay. Chapel is working on Batel, and they're discussing giving her more medication before she can go into stasis, or her body will turn necrotic while she's frozen. Batel says she's never been frozen solid before, and it's not very exciting to think about. Chapel tries to comfort her. As soon as we work out this little Gorn infection, you'll be up and around again. And Batel reiterates what she said in the last episode, which basically says if it looks like she's going to pop out babies, kill her.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, take her out. Chapel gives her a sedative and says when you wake up, you'll be Gorn free. Except she injects Batel, walks a couple of steps away, and then the alarms start blaring, and Batel starts like spasming and
shaking.
Jerking around because her body is rejecting the serum, which means they can't put her into stasis.
Yep, because she's allergic. Great.
Yep. So Chapel calls Pike on the bridge to tell him that, and she also says that she's only got less than a day before the Gorn hatch. While she's talking to Pike, we see Spock sort of stand up in the background and walk towards Pike. Pike says to Chapel that he's sending help and he believes in her. Help her. Chapel says she will do her best. And Spock says, I may not be a doctor, but I will dedicate all of my abilities to Captain Patel until her Gorn infection is resolved.
One way or the other.
That's a very diplomatic way of saying I'll either fix her or she'll be dead.
That's right. That's right. I'm not saying I'm going to save her life and she'll be okay. It'll be resolved.
Yeah, resolved.
Yes.
Pike still looks a bit in shock, so just sort of like nods at him or flicks his eyes and he just leaves. Then we cut to the ready room with Pike and Admiral April. April reiterates that the attacks by the Gorn have been occurring outside of the Federation jurisdiction and that we need to protect our members, that the Federation is still recovering from the Klingon War. Pike argues that the Gorn can sense that weakness and they're not going to stop. And since when do we not help non-Federation people? We're going to be next.
Yeah.
Pike refers to the Federation as prey, and the Gorn demarcation line will get further and further into Federation space, and by the time we want to do something about it, it will be too late. Makes sense to me.
Yep.
April takes a breath, asks about Batel. Pike fills him in. They take a moment, and then he says to Pike, officially, your orders are to monitor the demarcation line for any encroachment by the Gorn. Pike says, okay, and unofficially, how do we punch back and show them we aren't prey? Pike says, I can do that.
Yep.
We cut to Pelia and Scotty in the new science lab set, which looks very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Running water under the floor. Pelia is it Pelia? Pelia.
I think it's Pelia.
I think so. Pelia is criticizing Scotty because he didn't keep a work in progress log to track how he made the device that shielded him from the Gorn sensors when he escaped them in the last episode. Pike comes in and asks how long until it's up and running, but Scotty doesn't even remember how he did it. So he's like, Pelia asks how soon he needs it, and Pike says that they're heading into Gorn space, so now would be good.
Yeah.
And she says, we'll be up and running before they cross the hegemony line. Scotty just looks like, what the fuck did you just agree to?
Yeah, I can't have that. What are you? You're a what? Crazy woman.
We cut to a shot of a Gorn ship flying, and it enters into another bigger ship. The camera follows, and we're inside this giant ship, and it's kind of gross. It's all
biological stuff.
Yeah, there's like pods and goo and milk. The camera sort of moves through this for a little bit, and then we find our landing party that are inside like pods or sacks or gooey whatevers, and we see Lan, who is inside one, but she's having like life flashbacks.
Yeah.
But she wakes up and gets herself out of this
pops herself out
pod and then she tears open Mbenga's sack, and then she gets Sam and Ortega's out as well.
Ortega's with a hand missing, arm missing.
She's got a big chunk of her forearm missing.
Yeah, forearm missing.
Yeah, and part of her hand, I think. It looks like it's been burnt away. Like it's
dissolved away.
Dissolved, disgusting.
In like stomach acid. Yeah.
Which is what they determined, that they're in a massive digestion chamber being processed for food for the Gorn.
Yummy.
Yep. Then they find what they refer to as an evacuation pile. Things that the ship can't process gets expelled. And inside of that is weapons.
Conveniently.
So basically they find a big pile of shit with weapons in it.
Yes. How fun and convenient.
So they get the weapons. Lan says she wants to save everyone. And then we cut to commercial.
Now, so you just wouldn't start ripping people out? I mean, I know they looked at a few and they were like skeleton-y and mostly away, but like the idea of, I don't want to tear anyone else out of the pod because I want to save all of them at once. Well, how long is that going to take? Like, I mean, who knows how long? Like, wouldn't you just start tearing people out of the pods?
Like, what are you going to do with them once they're out?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, who knows? But like, you've got.
They said it would take forever to get all of them all out one at a time.
It'd take a while
because there's hundreds of colonists.
I suppose there's hundreds of them.
So you could spend a couple of days trying to extract them from the pods, and then to just stand around and go, okay, now what do we do?
True.
Or you get your core group together to find a way to do it all at once.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Makes sense to me.
It's fair enough. Just like, I know they left one in there and I was like, could have taken him as well.
He was only an extra.
It was only to prove the point, I suppose.
Correct. We come back to Scotty in the lab. He's got his engineering goggles on and he's trying to put together a device and it just doesn't seem to be working. So he's getting a bit frustrated. And then Pelia comes running in going, Scotty, the Gorn, they're here. We're all going to die. And as she's yelling, he quickly does a couple of things and the device suddenly works. She tricked him because she knew that he'd be able to fix it under the pressure. Then she has a moment where she says, Scotty, you're too afraid to take risks. You put up walls. He starts to get a bit emotional and then he just walks out. He leaves.
Yep.
We cut to the bridge. The red alert is blaring. Pike says Scotty's transponder thing is ready. Una says that it's more like a modified EM pulse emitter. And Uhura says that makes much more sense than a transponder. The Gorn don't use optical data. They've evolved to rely on biometrics, heat, and EM signatures. Pike says, let's see if it works. And Uhura says it should, unless someone decides to look out a window. Pike gives her the dirtiest fucking look.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's like, Fucking...
Can you just try to stay positive?
Yeah.
Mitchell says Gorn hunters are approaching and Pike is off the chair and moves towards the view screen. They watch as Gorn ships fly towards the Enterprise. They're waiting to see if they're going to be detected, but they fly past. Pike asks if we can still have a signal from the Wolkite. Uhura says yes, that the signal is coming from or heading towards a unusual binary star system full of extreme radiation. And when they're in that system, they won't be able to use warp engines or only be able to use impulse, and the shields aren't going to protect them for very long.
Yeah.
Pike says, we'll be quick. Let's go.
It's like, who gives a fuck? We're going anyway.
Exactly. So he sits down in his chair and he uses a little armrest computer console to check on the status of Batel.
What I like about all this is like the ship looks like it's fucked.
The Enterprise.
Yeah, like
there's shit everywhere.
Yeah, there's shit hanging down everywhere. There's like things are broken. Everybody's like uniforms a bit like scuffed and
disheveled.
And, yeah, like it's all gone to shit.
There's big pillars out of the ceiling.
Yeah,
yep.
Like it just looks really good. Like I mean, it looks like shit, but it looks really good.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, the set design is excellent.
Yeah, and it really puts you in that moment of like, holy crap, you know, like, and they're just doing what they have to do. Like it was really, really good. Like I just enjoyed that.
We cut to sickbay. Spock and Chapel were studying the infection, and they say that the Gorn DNA has changed Batel's biochemistry in a way that her body is now dependent on the Gorn hatchlings, as dependent on them as they are on her. So they're basically inseparable.
Yeah, symbiotic.
They've run a few different simulations to try to extract the Gorn hatchlings, but they've all come up fatal. Spock mentions an Orion Street drug called Zadora Extract, but they run that through the system and that doesn't work either.
Yeah.
But interesting, Orion Street drugs are a thing.
Yeah.
Spock and Chapel take a moment for Spock to apologize for his behavior while the thing's doing the simulation. Apologize for his behavior when she was leaving for the fellowship. And now it's complicated, and she doesn't do complicated very well. She's still on her way to spend 3 months working with Dr. Corby, but let's just see how things are when I get back. Spock reflects to her that she's saying that some time apart might be good for them, and she says yes, but not like us, like us as people.
Yeah.
Please don't do something romantic like wait for me or something.
Yeah.
But they're interrupted by the computer, and Chapel has another idea to give Batel an injection of Illyrian blood, Una's blood. It's designed to combat infections in real time. It's super illegal, but it might be the only thing to prevent her from dying during surgical removal of the hatchlings. Mm-hmm. They ask the computer to run the simulation accounting for Illyrian blood donation, and then we cut to the landing party on the Gorn ship. They have found a hangar with ships, and they have a plan to access the ship's mainframe, upload the Gorn transponder codes, and get them to the Enterprise by stealing one of the ships.
Very good plan.
Yeah. They see that one of the ships doesn't look very guarded, and Ortegas is talking themselves into it. She's like, it's a good plan. It's going to work. It's a good plan. It's going to work. It's a good plan. It's a good plan, right?
Yeah.
We hear some growling and noises coming from behind them, like the Gorn are on their way. They're coming. It's time to go.
Was it James or not James? Fucking Sam. James. Fucking wasn't it Sam who's like, as long as we don't run into the Gorn, and then we start hearing the Gorn.
Yeah, why would you say that?
They're like, what are you doing? It's like, at least it's not raining.
We cut to the ready room. Uhura and Una are briefing Pike on the Gorn research that they've been working on. They basically say that they could trigger a hibernation, and that the research shows that the signals and info they have on the current activity suggests that it's the beginning of a long period of Gorn aggression. So this could be the start of a massive invasion. Mitchell comes over the comm and says they're dropping out of warp in 2 minutes. Uhura leaves. Pike and Una have a moment to touch base, and Una says that she's given Spock and Chapel some blood. She says that they can have all they need and that this mission is already off the record, so nothing to report. She also says to Pike to take some of his own advice, focus on hope. And as she walks out, we cut to sickbay. The computer has done the Illyrian blood donor scenario, and the probability of fatality is 86%. But it's the first scenario that hasn't been 100% probability of death, but they don't really want to do the surgery with those odds, so they want to keep working on the problem to see if they can make it better.
Yeah.
We cut to the bridge as we drop out of warp, and they're down to impulse only. Uhura picks up the Wolkite signature. The ship they're tracking has already gone deep into the radiation zone. If they go in, they put the whole crew at risk. They stop the ship and put on the long-range visual on the screen. We see the Gorn ship flying right between the two stars. The Gorn power drops. Some flares come out from the two suns, and the ship kind of falls.
Yeah.
From the gravity of the suns. It sort of just falls and then disappears. Pike says, "We're going in."
Yeah, typical.
Yes, typical. There's another flare. The light starts to get really, really bright, and then we cut to sickbay. Alarms are blaring, and Batel starts convulsing. Spock says the hatchlings are activating. Something has accelerated their growth. They decide to do the surgery because a 14% chance of survival is better than no chance of survival. And the music swells and gets dramatic just as we cut to black for a commercial. When we come back, we're back on the bridge. The magnetic fields in the system make navigation impossible, explaining the Gorn's free fall.
Yeah.
The gravity wells do all the work. And the gravity wells and the magnetic fields basically hide everything that is behind the binary stars. They refer to it as like a natural hologram or a cloak.
Yeah.
They speculate that this could be the Gorn homeworld, and that's how they get back to it. They pick up movement. It's hundreds
Yeah.
of Gorn ships coming at them. The entire Gorn fleet is coming past them, heading straight for Federation space. Pike says we need to warn Starfleet, but they can't because of the interference. So he says we need to go, get clear of the interference. We need to warn Starfleet.
Yeah.
Uhura says if we lose our lock on the Wolkite signal, we may not find it again. We'll lose the landing party and the colonists. He just sort of collapses in his chair for a moment, like, what the fuck?
Shit.
Una suggests dropping a long-range communication buoy and tying a signal to it so they can come back for them because they need to stop the invasion.
Yeah.
Pike orders full warp as soon as we can until we can communicate with Starfleet because they're the only hope the Federation's got right now. That is the right decision to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
We cut to sickbay. Batel is on the table. She's got her back exposed. These little hatchling pods are sort of pulsating, and
Yeah, you can see the little Gorn.
really gross.
Yeah, it's gross. It is,
Spock and Chapel are in their biohazard suits, which are very original series looking.
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It was awesome.
And they're in the surgery bay, which they set to quarantine mode, so the force fields come up and everything just in case.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah, you don't want little baby Gorns everywhere. They inject Batel just as we cut back to the bridge. Tensions are rising. Uhura says the comms are jammed. The Gorn are transmitting an interference signal, so great.
Yeah.
They still can't go to warp, and they won't be able to go to warp soon enough to get a signal out to prevent them, basically. Pike actually sighs, falls back into his chair. Then he has a thought and hails a science lab, asking Pelia to come to the bridge. Una asks what he's up to, and he says that the research Uhura and her did said that solar flares can trigger a Gorn hunting and resting cycles, and we know precisely what kind of radiation signal would tell the Gorn to go to sleep. Uhura reiterates that it's just a theory, and as Pelia and Scotty enter the bridge, Pike says to them, "We just need to create a stellar flare."
Yeah.
Scotty says, "Well,
You can't really do that.
I can't do a Scottish accent. I was going to
No,
try.
don't.
You cannot make a star."
That's it.
You can't make a star do much of anything. Pike says, which is why we need to become a CME flare ourselves.
Yeah.
Scotty uses a computer station to basically explain why you can't do that.
Yeah. He says, because what you'd have to do is this, and we just can't do that. Hang on.
Yeah, you'd have to fly right between the binary stars, create some kind of competing magnetic field to draw particles away from both of them. Then Pelia adds that you'd also need to modify the deflector shields, the comms array, and, well, everything else.
Yeah.
Scotty says it's 1 in 1,000 would get it right, and we wouldn't blow ourselves up.
Yeah.
And then the simulation that he's running shows the Enterprise destroyed. Yeah. Pike says, well, I like those odds. We'll just do it, and we'll just turn it off before we blow up. Pelia smiles. Everyone looks like, what?
Yeah.
And Pike says, just get her done.
Yeah. That's it. Get her done.
Get her done, boys. And we cut to sickbay. Battelle is responding well to the transfusion of blood. So they're ready to make the first incision. They have this biohazard container thing that they sort of hover over the largest pustule on her back.
With a little lasery thing that's ready to sort
lining
of like
it up
cut
to,
through. And I'm like, waiting for this little Gorn thing to pop up and explode in the little chambery thing. I'm like, oh.
It's gross.
But it doesn't happen.
Chapel starts lowering it, and the music and the tension is building. And just before she puts it on Patel's back, Spock says, wait.
And everybody goes, oh.
Spock says, the odds are shit. And maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. If they burst out of the body to feed, why don't we feed them? Stop them from coming out.
Yeah.
Then they're not in defensive mode. We might be able to use something to fight the multitudes of infection that will result in the reabsorption of their bodies into Patel's body. They don't have time to run a simulation. Spock says, as you suggested, perhaps we just need a little faith. Chapel puts down the extractor thing, and we cut to the landing party on the Gorn ship. They're slowly moving towards the ship that they're going to steal. Lana's found a computer interface, and she's having flashbacks to her brother on the breeding planet. Mbenga checks in on her, makes, sort of grounds her in the moment.
Yep.
Lan uses the interface to
extract the information required to deactivate all the shields and whatever they need to do for the ship.
Correct. They download it onto a big ass Gorn USB stick.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to take this with us.
We need to get this to the Enterprise. It's a Gorn flash drive.
That's it. Protected at all costs.
We hear the Gorn screeching and growling behind them, and from the end of the hallway, like a fair way in the distance, we see them coming. They're crawling on the walls and ceilings. They start shooting. This big Gorn dude runs up behind Lan and stands behind her and growls. Sam goes to attack and then gets thrown away. The Gorn stabs Ortegas in the gut with its claws and holds her up and is about to eat her face when Lan rushes over and places her phaser right up against the Gorn's neck and fires, and his whole head explodes, dropping Ortegas and throwing Lan backwards.
Yeah. Big dramatic scene. Love it. It was awesome.
Yep.
And at that moment, you're like, holy fuck, these
Gorn are cool.
And they are. They're fucking awesome. Like, compared to the original series Gorn, where it's a guy in a suit and he's like, these Gorn are much better.
I love original
Don't get me wrong, I really liked that episode too, but I mean, compared to that Gorn, these ones kick ass.
These ones do kick ass.
I mean, if Kirk was going up against one of these Gorn, sorry, no.
Kirk could do it.
No.
He just needs to rip his shirt and he can do anything.
Well, yeah, true. I found some rocks and I'm making it. Yeah, whatever. I actually really like it for what it was.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the Enterprise approaching the binary stars. On the bridge, Mitchell says they're in position. Pike says, make us shine like the sun. We go to an external shot and we see some solar flares hitting the Enterprise shields. And on the bridge, the light is getting brighter and brighter and brighter. Cut to the Gorn ship. Mbenga is helping Sam and Lan is helping Ortegas. They are shooting at the approaching Gorn as they enter onto the Gorn ship. They shoot the door lock, which closes behind them. Mbenga gets to sit on the pilot seat, which is like a weird black thing to mount onto.
Over. Yeah.
Ortegas is hurt, but she says, like, put me up there. We don't have time to argue. I'm the only one that's going to be able to do
you
this.
guys
Put me
can't
up
do
there.
it. Which is fair, because everyone else looks totally fucking confused. Although I don't know why Khan couldn't have done it.
Who?
I don't know. What's her name?
Oh, Lan.
Lan. I don't know why Lan couldn't have done it. Because surely she would have a fairly good idea about the Gorn technology stuff.
Why?
Well, she just got into their computer system and hacked it, for starters.
I think she just copied and pasted onto a USB stick.
True, my bad.
She's not a pilot.
No, she's not a pilot, but she'd still know the systems. Like, it'd be better enough than the lady who's bleeding out.
Well, clearly not. Ortegas is the best pilot that's ever existed.
Sure, yeah, that's true. At this point.
Yeah. Anyway.
So they put her on there to pilot the ship.
Correct. So they head off, and they're followed by other Gorn ships that are firing at them. We get a shot of them coming out of the big mothership through the force fieldy thing. They're still getting pursued. There's a few shots of Gorn piloting their ships after them. But we cut to the bridge. The light is very, very bright, intense. Mm-hmm. Una says that the radiation levels are critical. The Gorn are on an intercept course towards Enterprise. They get a hail from Lan. Everything is kind of distorted and slow from the radiation. Lan says that she's going to send them the transporter codes to get the colonists. The Gorn are approaching. Una says hull integrity is failing. All of the Gorn ships go through the portal thing and disappear. Pike orders them to turn off the star simulator and asks if it worked. Una says the Gorn ships have all gone home and they beamed out the colonists.
Yep.
Lan comes over the comm. They're still on the stolen Gorn ship. They ask to be beamed over with a medical team standing by. Una says, we did it. We triggered the long hibernation in the Gorn. Yay! Woo. Pike says, yeah, but I can't help wondering if we didn't just create a problem for someone else to solve later on.
Hint, hint.
Yes. They get hailed from Admiral April, who says, we just got your message. How much time do we have? Pike says, ignore the message. We won't be seeing the Gorn for a long while, as he leaves the bridge into the turbo lift. We cut to the Gorn ship. Ortegas is still in the pilot seat. They haven't been beamed yet. And we see a lot of blood starting to pool under her, and she collapses.
Yeah.
And Mbenga wakes her up and says, stay with me. And they are beamed out. We cut to Spock and Chapel walking out of the surgical bay with their biohazard helmets off. Chapel says that we did all we could. It's in Captain Patel's hands now. She gives Spock a kiss on the cheek and says, thank you, I couldn't have done it without you. He says, you're welcome. Pike approaches. Chapel tells him she's in recovery and looks back and Spock is gone.
Yeah.
We cut to Pike inside sickbay. Una on the comm telling him that the landing party has been beamed to the overflow infirmary, giving Pike some quiet time with Patel in an almost empty sickbay. Pike takes a moment before entering the surgical area to take a breath and prepare himself.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's clearly distraught. Patel looks like she's asleep. He says, okay, Dad, you win. As he kneels and sighs and starts to recite the Our Father.
So fucking annoying.
As Patel wakes up.
Yep.
Prayer.
It's just ridiculous.
Just does not make sense.
It doesn't fit.
This show.
It doesn't fit at all. None.
Patel says that clearly the Gorn didn't pop out of her body and kill everyone. He says that she's not out of the woods yet, but he'll get Chapel to explain everything later. She asks how, and he says Una helped. And she says, Chris, you shouldn't have done that. He says, Marie, I've already lost too much, all right? So we can sit here and we can argue about what might or might not happen, or you can set all that aside and let me hold you. I really don't want to lose you. She holds his face in her hands and says, I'm still here. as we get some Star Trek notes in the score. Their two faces fade to the binary stars as Enterprise travels away from them towards us and heads off. And that's the end.
Very good.
All right, that's the episode, Tom.
Yeah.
Good, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was very good.
And what's the life lesson in this one?
Never give up, never surrender. Wait, hang on. That's Galaxy Quest.
Close. It's close to Star Trek.
Pretty much that, isn't it?
Never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, never give up, never surrender.
Not I shall avenge you.
Yeah, that's it. By Grant Thor's hammer.
To infinity and beyond. Oh no, wrong Tim Allen
Yeah.
movie.
It's got to be one of those Tim Allen movies.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, I think never give up, never surrender. I think that sums it up. But
Yeah, I think it pretty much does. I mean, as much as it is sort of taken from another thing, it sort of is that. It is really like, you know, you've got to stand your ground.
Yep. Yes, I agree. And I think this is a good example of how Star Trek uses its own like optimism and hope. Hope's a big word that they use a fair bit in this show.
Yeah.
But they use that even when things are overwhelmingly
Against
them. They still hold on to that hope. And yeah, I think it was a good example of that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
I think they should have. Sorry, I think they should have killed off Ortegas though.
Yeah.
Like I know she's a good character. Like I like her, but I think they should have killed her off. I think it would have been a big move to have done that. Like it was a perfect opportunity to have done that. It would have been a big move. I think that would have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have made the stakes a bit higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they don't often kill main characters off.
Know. Yeah.
But yes, I think it probably, if they really wanted to drive home
the reality of what can happen, like the real,
then they could have done that.
Yeah.
And I think Ortegas is probably one of the few characters that they could probably let go.
Exactly. You know, because they a loved
they
character.
Could recruit Mr. Sulu.
Well, that too. Exactly. And I think it would have been. It sort of sets up for the future of what we've got to come as well. Is we could lose anyone, because we could, but
or anyone who's not already in the original series.
Exactly.
Yes, they could have. That would have been good. All right, IMDb rating. Our examples of 1 episodes are Voyager's Threshold and Next Gen's Code of Honor. Examples of 10 episodes are Next Gen's Tapestry and Deep Space Nine's Far Beyond the Stars. We rated Hegemony Part 1 a 9. What are we going to rate Hegemony Part 2?
It's not going to be a 9 because it's nowhere near as good. Well, it's close, I suppose, but it's nowhere near as good, really. So I'd go, I don't know, 7, 6, 7.
Yeah, I think I could probably go a 7.
7?
Yeah. It was well paced. The story was good. Yeah. It was just the wrap up. I thought it was a bit too either convenient or recycled.
It sort of did. It just felt a little easy, didn't it? Like, so yeah.
All right, a 7 it is. Cool. All right. If you want to join the conversation and tell us what you thought of this episode or anything Strange New Worlds or Star Trek related, please feel free to get in touch. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook at Temporal Directive Podcast and on Instagram, just Temporal Directive, or you can email us at wakefield_productions@outlook.com. We'll be back with our regular episode on Friday. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.